Alright guys, this is episode 114 and today I'm going to be going over the must-own vehicles in GTA Online. This list is updated for 2018. In this countdown I'll be including a variety of different vehicles for different uses, so the best cars, motorbikes for races, the best armoured vehicles that you can own in the game, and also just vehicles that are good for functional uses or practical uses in the game. Don't forget to leave your suggestions for next week's theme down in the comments section. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one, and let's get right into this. So up first, at the number 10 spot is the Pariah. You can pick this one up from Legendary Motorsport for 1.42 million. Now since 2013, the LJ RH8 was the king of the sports class. It's always been the go-to vehicle for all of the sports races, and especially being free, you couldn't really beat it. But that all changed with the introduction of the Pariah, added as part of the Doomsday update. Now this thing is an absolute monster. Arguably, this is a supercar that's been placed in this sports category. So if you're still using the LJ in sports races, you're going to be outmatched by the Pariah. Thanks to the resilient testing from Brofy1322, he found that this car is your number one best choice when you're in racing situations, so going around tracks, accelerating, braking. This is the best car in the whole class. It also actually has an insane top speed. It's got a top speed of 136 miles per hour, which actually beats a lot of the top speeds of most of the supercars in the supercar class. And just to note, the Pariah does also outmatch the Comet SR, which was recently added into GT Online. Moving on to the number 9 spot, which is the Avenger. So this one's going to set you back 3.45 million to 4.7 million if you get it fully upgraded, and this is probably the most expensive vehicle in this whole countdown. Now the reason the Avenger is a must-own vehicle is because it has so many different uses. You can equip it with a weapons workshop, you can customize and upgrade your weapons to Mark II variants, you can equip it with a vehicle workshop, you can customize your weaponized vehicles, you can install a weapons locker to change your loadout, get rid of weapons that you don't need from your weapons wheel. You can even transport weaponized vehicles in the back of this thing and fly across the map if you have the vehicle workshop. And the vehicle in itself is actually a bit of a monster. The guns on this thing are extremely powerful if you get the turrets, and you can quickly switch between the turrets to cover all angles around your aircraft. And even if you're operating the Avenger yourself as a solo player, you can make use of the autopilot feature and hop into the back yourself and take control of the guns. I was a little bit reluctant to buy the Avenger, especially since I already owned an MOC. However, the Avenger is a lot more powerful than the MOC on the ground, and in many ways it's a lot more advantageous to have an air vehicle than a ground vehicle. The MOC is just so slow, it's difficult to maneuver, whereas the Avenger has two different flying modes, so it can keep up with a lot of the other air vehicles in the game. The major factor for buying an Avenger is obviously the cost, and I believe you also need to own a facility first to actually buy the Avenger, so that also adds to your upfront costs. Next up at the number 8 spot is the Vagner in the supercar class. This one costs 1.5 million from Legendary Motorsports, and this one is actually quite a reasonably priced supercar, and probably one of the only supercars you'll actually need to own for most racing tracks in the superclass category. The Vagner also tops out at 126.8 miles per hour, which is a great top speed. And as mentioned before, Brofy1322 also did a comparison for all of the best vehicles in the supercar category, and this was his number one fastest vehicle in a racing situation. So unless you're in a drag race and the only factor that matters is top speed, then this should always be your go-to vehicle for any supercar class vehicle races. Next up is the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom. This one will set you back around 1.8 million, however if you do complete the Humane Rabs Raid heist, you will get a discount on this vehicle for 1.35 mil from Warstock Cash and Carry. To get the custom variant of this vehicle, you'll have to take it to a vehicle workshop and pay the conversion fee of around $200,000. Now the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom is probably more of an endgame content vehicle that you should buy, and the reason for this is what makes this vehicle so great is that a lot of the features are unfortunately locked behind research, so you're going to have to spend many hours in your bunker having the research run in the background while you play the game to actually unlock a lot of these overpowered upgrades. Some of the best upgrades for this vehicle include the heavy armor plating, proximity mines that you can drop to destroy anyone chasing you, and of course the upgrade from a machine gun to a 50 cal minigun. The gunner can also be upgraded to have more protection when he's using that minigun. And this vehicle is actually a lot of fun. With a friend in the gunner seat, this thing is pretty much a moving powerhouse in free roam lobbies. The Insurgent Pick-Up Custom can also be your personal vehicle, so having this thing able to be called into missions or even heists is going to make your life a lot easier. We actually used this one quite a few times during our Criminal Mastermind achievement in the Doomsday Heists. This vehicle is also extremely durable to damage. It's going to take 9 sticky bombs to blow this thing up. At the number 6 spot is the Dinghy. This one will set you back $166,000 or $125,000 from Doc T's if you've completed the Humane Labs raid heist. Now the Dinghy might be a bit of a WTF for a lot of you guys, but if you ever find yourself stranded in water away from the shore, this can be an absolute lifesaver. When you own the Dinghy, you can use the CEO menu to spawn this right next to you, kind of similar to how the Buzzard works when you can request a CEO vehicle. And it's also a very inexpensive vehicle, so if you do find yourself stranded in the game, it's good to have the Dinghy at your disposal. I've probably used the Dinghy more than my $8 million yacht. Moving on to the number 5 spot is the Armoured Kuruma. This one costs $700,000 or $525,000 if you've completed the Felicia job heist from Southern San Andreas Super Auto's website. Now you might be wondering, Silent Core, why are you including the Armoured Kuruma if you've already listed the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom? Well, I'm glad you guys asked, because they're both useful for different situations. So the Insurgent has a weakness to gunfire. Even if you fully upgrade the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom, you're still somewhat vulnerable to being shot through the windows, especially from other players in a free roam if they can lock onto you. And of course, for the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom to be most useful, you need another player in the gunner seat. And that's what makes this vehicle, the Armoured Kuruma, my go-to vehicle when I'm playing the game solo. You can be completely surrounded by NPCs and be able to pick them off in your own time with an AP pistol or an SMG without having to worry about being shot. It just has so many different uses. It's great for free roam, it's great for missions, even some of the heists, even some of the Doomsday heists. There's quite a few that this mission will really help you out in. It has so many practical uses. The only time that this vehicle should not be used, and probably its biggest weakness, is explosives. You know, the Kuruma's biggest downfall is that one sticky bomb or one RPG is going to be enough to destroy it, so that's the only thing you have to watch out for. At the number 4 spot is the Shotaro, or the Tron bike. You can get this one from 2.2 million from Legendary Motorsport. And this is pretty much the only vehicle that you guys should buy for racing in the motorcycle classes, unless you're doing a drag race of course, and you want a vehicle with the top speed. The Shotaro has a top speed of 123.8 miles per hour, so it would be beaten in a drag race by the Bate, the Hikuchu Drag, and a few other of the high speed bikes. However, the Shotaro makes up for this in its cornering abilities. This thing is awesome around the corners, and in most racing situations, this is your number one vehicle. This vehicle is going to dominate stunt races and most races where you're going to be going around corners, doing jumps. At the number 3 spot is the Oppressor. You can pick this one up in War Stock Cash and Carry for 3.5 million or 2.6 million if you unlock the trade price. Now this vehicle obviously isn't available in normal races, so the Shotaro is your best option for races. However, this is the fast motorcycle in the game thanks to that huge big rocket on the back of it. And when you're using your rocket boost, you're going to be averaging around 139.3 miles per hour. The default Oppressor has miniguns, but you can upgrade this with some research in your bunker to have lock-on missiles, and these things are extremely overpowered. The Oppressor is just generally a very practical and quick way of getting around the map when you're in a free roam lobby. You can spawn it right next to you at your disposal by just becoming an MC President and requesting a personal vehicle. It'll literally appear right next to you, you don't have to wait for it like you would with a mechanic. And not to mention, it's just an extremely fun vehicle to use. You know, you can pop those wings in and out if you want to make a cheeky getaway or jump over any obstacles. You can do that very easily with this vehicle. At the number 2 spot is the notorious Hydra. This one has a price of $4 million in War Stock Cash and Carry, or you can get the discount and pick it up for $3 million if you complete the Humane Raid heist. Now, it was actually quite a hard choice to include either the Pyro or the Hydra in this countdown. They're both similarly priced air vehicles, and depending on the owner, they can have some pretty good dogfighting moments. But I had to go with the Hydra because it's just the air vehicle that I use the most. It's great for any sort of VIP missions, getting around the map. You can also make the Hydra your personal vehicle if you own a hangar, so just put it in your hangar and then you can easily request it as a personal vehicle rather than using Pegasus. And price wise, if you have the discount, this thing costs less than half of the laser, which you can get from free anyway at the military base. So I think that makes the Hydra one of my must own vehicles. And that leaves me with the number 1 must own vehicle, which has to go to the Buzzard. Now all around, this is the most useful vehicle you can ever own in GT Online. And I had to put it in my number 1 spot because it is just generally my most used vehicle. It's the vehicle that I call every single day, and I'm going to use every single time that I play this game. You can pick this one up for 1.75 million from Warstock Cash and Carry, and it's actually regularly discounted, so if you don't have this yet, you might want to wait for a discount week. It might seem like a lot of money up front, but this vehicle is going to save you so much time in the long run. You're literally going to cost yourself more money if you don't buy this thing. The best thing about it is you don't have to worry about it being delivered to a helipad or a distinct landing area. When you're a CEO, you can just spawn this thing right next to you with your CEO abilities. The Buzzard has machine guns or lock-on or non-lock-on missiles, which are more than enough to take out any other players. They'll get you through VIP work, get you through missions, and pretty much whatever else the game can throw at you really. A nice little trick with the Buzzard is when you're flying back to your office, you can quickly and easily land in your office by just hitting right on the D-pad when you're hovering over your office. This can be a lot more efficient than having to land the vehicle, get out, walk inside. You can just do this shortcut and you'll quickly get inside. Once you get familiar with the Buzzard and you can handle it quite well, you can practice your side-to-side movement and be able to avoid missiles quite well with this thing as well. And last of all, I wanted to include a bit of a trick where you can get 3 Buzzards simultaneously by just buying it once. I actually learned about this on a Reddit comment, so I'll put that on screen for you guys. But as you can see, by just buying this vehicle once, there's 3 different ways that you can call in this vehicle, and you can do them all at once, so you can have 3 different people flying Buzzards. It's really useful if you're doing any if you're playing with friends or crewmates, doing any sort of missions, and you all need an aircraft. This is a great way to do it. And that was my must-own vehicles in GT Online. Please take a second to leave the video a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new. I do one of these countdowns every single week, so don't miss out on the next one. Feel free to let me know down in the comments, I'm sure you guys will, if you agree with my list, and let me know what your favourite vehicle is in GT Online. Have a great day guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Sick up in Los Santos, dodging missiles, dodging bullets, coming at me now, tell me to pull it. I'm a G, DOA, silent core in GTA.